So, day 5, I think, of my whatever this is, diaries. I had such an interesting conversation yesterday with Emily, and I didn't post it right away, partly because I posted a bunch of others and didn't want to be overwhelming. Um, but I also kept asking myself if I need to edit that conversation because I feel like I may have said something sort of stupid about. Um, I don't know, sort of not being afraid of dying. Uh, we were just talking about life and death and uh, the virus and the attitude and things like that. And the afterthought that I had was this came to me yesterday, and I wrote a bunch of stuff down. It sort of hit me really late last night. So I wrote all this stuff down. I haven't reread it, but I'm probably going to just read it today because at the time it seemed really great. So if you hear this, it means I didn't um, delete it. So the afterthought I had was that the only thing worse than dying from this virus is dying with the knowledge I never fully expressed myself while alive. I think we're all pretty familiar. Well, my people are pretty familiar with the Wayne Dyer uh, comment that you don't want to die with your music still in you. And it's really one thing to know a thing in your head, and it's a different thing to live it. And there are a lot of things I know in my head. I have a very big head. It's very hard to find a hat for my head. Um, and I know I know a lot of principles for how I want to live, and the practice is the harder part, right? I'm quite proud of myself that I showed up for yoga again yesterday at 11, free online, with Dr. Sue Mortar. And anyway, let me just read this, see how it goes. I have no idea what it says because it just came out. I finished it and then I put it down. I'm blessed and cursed as a super creative artist. If I died today, I'd be almost ashamed of what I've accomplished in my life, except for my son. I'm super proud of him. But the rest, I don't know. A good start, but I can do so much more. I've been struggling for years now, nearly 10, trying to figure out what's next, to maximize my skills and gifts, to bring myself up to the next level. I was never going to be the world's greatest photographer, and yet I cannot imagine not being a photographer. So that seems a bit, hmm, that seems a bit limiting, no? But in just a few days on these calls, plus a few other episodes in my life, I figured out that photographs are just the byproduct of my gift, the gift with purchase, if you will, because the real gift is the experience, the moment, the magic, the alchemy of our connection. My son is always reminding me, especially when he wants money for a trip, experiences, not things, Mom. And of course, as a woman who came of age in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I want it all. So I want the experience and I want the thing, the souvenir. My life story is reflected in other people's photographs. Whether a multi-million-dollar wedding or a Syrian refugee camp, I feel myself in every photo. I know I was there, even if my client hired me for my gift of being invisible. I knew I was there. I know how much my presence will matter to them in the future, even if they didn't fully appreciate it in the moment. I know my photos get better with age. I know because I so rarely see myself in the photos. So few people have ever really taken the time to see me, much less photograph me. And in a lot of ways, I wasn't allowing them in. I didn't want anyone to see the flaws, see the imperfect version of my story. I wasn't yet ready to publish. That is why this project is important to me, because it is messy, imperfect, and above all, real. There are so many amazing parts of my life that were never captured on film or video or in print. There's so little visible reference to my existence except the beautiful images I put in the hands of others, and those barely tell the story of my existence, of what I was thinking or doing in this amazing life. My house is a box of treasures. Everything in it tells a story of a trip to India, of a gift from a beloved friend, a haggle with a Turkish rug dealer, an effort to support a fellow artist, a dog saved from certain death, an old barn recycled by a friend to become my floor. Everything here is part of my story. It's part of why I love this place so much. I know I'm a bit of a high-class hoarder. I know I don't need any of this. I know I am my own infinite supply of creativity. But I guess this virus has taught me, above all, that I'm not here forever. I may not even be here next month. So what is it I really want to do with this life? Well, on the one hand, I've been doing it all along, exploring the planet and connecting with the people. On the other, why have I kept my voice so quiet and my image so hidden? I'm exploring that now. That's all I wrote. That's pretty good. I like it. So, yeah, this is funny because in a strange way, the book that I have been writing, both actually writing, taking notes for, collecting bits of information for, was all about this. And it was all about life and photography. And in my case, how photography is my life. But it's also really simply a vocabulary for me. I love that the word itself means writing with light. So I can sort of call myself a light worker in a secret way. But that's so me as well. This range of experience from the superficial, the surface of a thing, of an image, to the the energetic vibration of it somewhere deep inside. That's the part that I'm looking for in people. It's that capturing of energy, soul, whatever you want to call it. That's the only part of it that really makes it all work for me. I guess otherwise I would have become a fashion photographer, which, don't get me wrong, that I loved that. I really, someone once asked me if you could have anyone photograph you, who would it be? And my answer was Peter Lindbergh, who's one of the great fashion photographers of all time. He died last year, and I never got to meet him. And I follow all kinds of people who were photographed by him. Stuart became friends with him at one point. I was super jealous of that because I wanted to know his mind. And yet I feel like I do from the photographs. And that's why I said that was the person I wanted to photograph me, because I have a sense that even as a fashion photographer of the most, superficial, frivolous idea of photography, and that's a whole other conversation because that's not really what I think about fashion photography. But he was able to get beyond the surface and capture something else. It's interesting. I mean, he only ever worked with extraordinarily beautiful people. So there's that. So he was capturing something beyond that surface beauty. I feel like what I like to do is work a little more with the inner beauty. And I love working with people who maybe aren't aware of their beauty so much. And by the way, secret insider information, even models don't really think of themselves as beautiful sometimes. I have a lot of friends who are models, and I love them all. And I think they're amazing, amazing people. And that's a funny business, the way it sets things up in a surface outer versus inside reality and feeling. Yeah, that's like a really big other conversation. We'll do that in another day. So there you have it. That's what I have to say for today. Oh, and if you want to see any of these calls, I've decided not to post all the links on Facebook because then I would really be annoying. So I just keep posting them as I do them in YouTube. And they seem to all come out to about an hour. I don't know. They're not edited. They're not, you know, slick. They're not, I don't know what they are. They're just there. If you want to listen in on my conversations with my friends, you can. Okay. Thanks for listening.